Alright then, the next thing we'll do is to actually show the user their contacts. So we've come back full circle, we're back in main activity, and we're going to work on it to the very end. So, just to remind ourselves, back in our DB handler object, we have a method that will get all our contacts, and here it is. Yes, here we are. So this method will get all our contacts, get all contacts, and it returns a list of contacts. So let's go to our main activity. That means the first thing we need is a list of contacts, and we'll name it contacts. All right. In our onCreate, we can initialize that list with, put it here, contacts is equal to new array list. Alright, next thing I'll do is I will make my DB handler object. I'll simply call it DB handler, initialize it right next to the context here, is equals to new DB handler, and you pass in that very same context. And then what we can do is we can say this context that we just created is equal to handler DB handler dot get all contacts. That's simple. And just by doing that, all our contacts are saved in this contact list, in this contacts, which is a list of contacts. All right. Now, let's go back to our layout just to take a look. So this can be customized later, but for now, all I'll have us do is to have just the names. The names of the contacts will be fetched and will be placed in the list, and that's what we'll see. So the name is a string object, string data type rather. So what we can do is we can create an array of strings. So I'll do that. I'll create string and then put square brackets so that it's an array is equals, I'll give it a name first. Names array is what we can call it, and then we can say that it is equal to new is equals to new string. New string, yes, there we go. Okay, now we have an error. Let's see what it says. Array initializer expected. Okay, the way arrays work is that you have to explicitly tell the array how large it is. You have to, with a list such as this, what I created, we could add as many things as we wanted in whatever order we wanted without telling it that without notifying it that we are adding such and such an object. But with arrays, if the array has 5 spaces, we have to say at the very beginning this array has 5 spaces when we're making it. So how can we make this work for us? Inside this brackets, this square brackets, that's where we would put the number. For example, 6, and as you see that error disappears. So for example, this array has 6 spaces, so we could add only 6 names. So how can we know that we've added enough names for our list? Remember, our list can have as many spaces as it wants. We just keep adding to it. So then what we will do is we'll use a method that is built into lists. So we'll say contacts, that's the name of our list, and we will say dot size. So it will first check how big the list is, that is how many names, how many contacts we have, and then it will say that's how large we need our array to be. And actually we should put this line below the contacts line, the contacts equals to dbhandler.get all contacts line. So let me cut this and put it there. Alright then, so now we have our array. but the array is still empty, so we have to actually put the names of our contacts inside that array. And to do that, we can use a simple for loop. So for, let's make the brackets and the braces, int x is equal to 0, x is less than contacts dot size again, and finally x plus plus. So that's a simple for loop. If you haven't come across for loops before, I suggest you do a quick Google search, just do a little bit of research. It's a very useful tool and something that is very important to know. So anyway, in each iteration of our for loop, what we want is to take the array space, which in this case is names array with the x, and we say that it is equals to contacts dot get x. So now we have a contact object, and finally dot get name. There you go, and that is it. That's all our for loop will do. So now what do we have? We have our list that has all our contacts, and we have a names array. We have an array of string that is large enough to hold all the names of the contacts. And then we have a for loop that has put all those names from the contacts into the names array. So now let's actually show them on the screen. To do that, first we need an array adapter. So array adapter of string, and we'll just call it adapter, is equals to new array adapter, and it takes in a number of arguments. The first one, I'm sure you saw that that helpful text before it disappeared. So anyway, the first one is context, followed by the layout followed by the layout that we want our text to be displayed. So for this we type android.r.layout.simple list item 1. Simple as that. The next thing it needs is the actual the array that's going to be displayed. So this is why we needed to create a whole new array instead of just using lists. This adapter that is actually going to put our names onto the screen only accepts arrays. Okay, we terminate that, and the very last line is contact list, which is our list view dot set adapter, and that is it. I'm going to apply these changes and let's see if it worked.